Hello, welcome back. We have a surprise guest on the show, on the channel. Come here. You should want to people your butt. I don't think they want to see your butthole. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. For any of you wondering, we don't eat at the table. This table literally exists for the cats to eat on, but I do clean it off. Anyhow, I'm re-recording this video because the first time I did it, I yapped so hard. Hey, what are you doing? That even I was like, what am I saying? So this time I have prompts in a notebook. We're gonna do a little bit better. And I have a, very aggressive little buddy here. So welcome to forcing girl math and real math to come together to make me skinny. I'm making this video because I had a very hard time figuring out what everything meant regarding calorie counting, cutting, bulking, maintenance, etc. There's so much information. Everything has a special term. These terms change all the time. I think we're doing body recomp now, which is fine. You can call it whatever you want. I'm sure it's a different thing than what I'm talking about. I haven't put any effort into looking at what body recomp is, but it is very overwhelming. So I'm going to try and clarify things, but I'm specifically going to focus on cutting because that's what I'm doing, and I don't want to yap for 45 minutes again. So let us begin. Okay, so first of all, what are macros? Macro is just short for macronutrients. It just means the big nutrients in your food. So that's protein, fat, and carbohydrates. It's what a lot of people focus on when talking about fitness and health. And it's also those three macronutrients play into the total amount of calories in your food. I don't remember if calories themselves count as a macronutrient, but I don't think so, because what calories do is they get digested and provide your body with energy, but the calories come from the nutrients, the macronutrients of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So many people who count calories and count macronutrients count all four of those things: the calories, protein, fats, and carbs. I personally find that very overwhelming and annoying, and I don't like math, so I just do calories and protein. Now, calories are important. I know many people hyperfixate on calories, and especially when you're trying to lose weight, you think the less the better, but that's not always true. You need to keep your calories in a safe range because they keep your body running. So they sustain you by creating the energy your body needs to literally survive. So make sure you're getting the proper amount of calories per your goal. To determine your goal, essentially, aesthetically, what do you want to do? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to keep your body how it is? Or do you want to gain muscle? So you would do a cut to lose weight, to lean out. You would do maintenance to keep your body where it is. So maintenance calories are just calories that the actual number your body needs to function and run on a day-to-day basis. And a bulk would be the calories you need to build that muscle or gain that weight. That is the difference between the three. Ultimately, they all start off by figuring out your maintenance calories and either staying there or going higher for a bulk or going lower for a cut. It's simple to say, but it's very annoying to calculate. To do so, many websites, you can use websites to figure out your calories. You can use apps to figure all that stuff out. They use your height and weight. And the reason they use your height and weight is because that determines your total mass, your body mass. And that is how it figures out how many calories you need. So it's how much energy is needed to allow your current mass, whatever that may be, to function, pretty much, is the thick and the thin of it. For me specifically, since I'm on a cut, what I did was I went to a website. I will try to find that website again and put it on screen. But I went to a website and I put in what my goal is, my height and my weight, and put, you know, whatever else it needed in there. I think it wants your age and your gender as well, like your birth gender. I put all that information into the website and it told me what my calories needed to be. I liked this website. It was chock full of ads, which was really annoying, but I liked it because instead of giving you one number to follow, it gave me a range of numbers. So it's like 1539 to 17 something. So I don't have to a T get exactly precisely the calorie. I have a window and it's a lot easier to function that way. So if you're just starting out, I really recommend finding a window of calories to do, and then as you get better or more used to calculating your macros, or get an app that's a little bit better to help you calculate everything, I highly recommend doing the window first, and then you can narrow it down to the more precise calorie counting. I think if you get really serious into things like bodybuilding, I think they function better for their goal to do very specific on the dot calories, but that's not something I've ever done, so I'm not going to speak too much to that. But I found that very nice. And then for protein, since I only do the calories and protein, for protein you want to do 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So right now I'm 150, so that's my current goal. For protein, I get about 130 since I'm not using supplements, so it'll be different for everybody, but it's based off of your weight. So meal prepping, it's kind of a complicated, long-winded topic. This is where I yapped the most the first time I recorded this video, but I will try to make it easier. There's a few ways to do it. Ultimately, once you figure out your weight goal, like the cut, bulk, maintenance, and what calories and macro numbers you need, you next need to figure out how you're going to prep. If you don't prep, fantastic. I envy you because I have to prep or else I just am off the wall. I can't go day by day because I don't want to do that much math every single day. So I do personally 4 days in a row prep because I find 4 days is the best amount of time before your food goes bad. And it also mathematically tends to be a little bit easier because for whatever reason, the way that a lot of servings are done, 4 is like the magic number, either multiplying by 4, dividing by 4, blah, blah, blah. It just seems to be easier. So whatever works for you. I know some people do 7 days and then they freeze some food, or you could do 2 weeks and freeze some food, just whatever works best. Once you figure out if you're going to do day by day or prep by prep, you need to figure out what food you're actually going to eat. So I always start by figuring out what protein sources I'm going to include. I eat plants because I have to. So I usually do tofu, tempeh, broccoli, spinach, and then beans. Tons and tons of beans. So those are my protein sources. I try to shoot for tempeh and tofu because they tend to have the higher protein per calorie ratio. But if you do chicken, fish, beef, pork, whatever, just make sure you figure out what protein sources are best for your goals, what you like to eat the most, and kind of center those in your week and almost build meals around them. Do the best you can. If there's food that you really like that you're going to want to eat so many days in a row, I highly recommend starting with that meal, figuring out its calorie and macro profile, and then including that in your prep and doing other meals in addition to that meal, you're much more likely to stick with your goals if you actually enjoy the food that you're eating. If you really like maple breakfast sausage, make sure you do that every morning. Or if you really like eating eggs and egg whites, do that in the morning. Or breakfast, brunch, lunch, and dinner. I don't care, live your life. So figure out what food you like, figure out their macro profile, and then put them in your prep. I like to write it down. You can also use apps. They are far better than just writing it down. I just can't afford an app right now, and usually the free ones are kind of So right now I'm doing it straight off the dome. So just put them all in there and kind of test the waters. Are they hitting your goals? Are they not hitting your goals? If they're not, you need to kind of break apart your meals and see why. Some foods have high calorie, low protein for vegan food. So fruit is an example. I love fruit and I want to include it every single week. So I do, but they have a lot of calories and not a lot of protein. And beans are another thing where it's a lot of calories, not a lot of protein, versus tempeh and tofu. So if I'm including those and they are putting my prep all out of whack, I'll swap them for something else or reduce how much I'm taking in. So I do smoothies for breakfast right now, and I put the frozen fruit in there. It's usually like a cup, but the calories were too high and the protein was too low. So instead of doing the full cup, I do 2/3 cup. Or in I think I'm doing 3-bean chili instead of doing beans, another bean or something like that. I did tofu cubes instead because that had higher protein but lower calories. But I didn't want to do just a ton of tofu, so that's why I did the 3-bean chili, so I'm getting actual beans in my food. So that helps a lot, and you will have to play with it a little bit. I recommend if you find a prep that you like that's hitting your goals, just stay with it for a little bit unless you're getting tired of it, and then switch it up. But that helps because then you don't have to think about it. You just keep buying the same stuff, making the same stuff, eating the same stuff. And at the end of the day, for me, it was really helpful to stop thinking of food for flavor and think more of food for nourishment. Flavor is just an added benefit. Okay. Last part of the video, a few disclaimers here. In the past, I have had a god-awful relationship with food, with myself, with my body. So if you have a bad relationship with all of those things, do not restrict yourself. Do not do calorie counting. I don't recommend it until you get past that barrier because you're just going to exacerbate your issues. I was really bad with restricting my calories for a cut. I cut all the time, except I didn't actually because I would cheat once and then feel really terrible and then binge eat, and that's how I kept gaining all this weight back. So until you kind of figure out what the root problem is that's making you do these behaviors, I don't recommend keeping an eye on your macros to a T and being very particular with it. Live your life. If you think you're gonna be fine, go ahead and try it. I mean, I'm doing it right now and I just admitted that I had a problem in the past. And maybe like you try it and you're like, wow, I don't really think this is going the way that it should, and I feel like I am in a poor mental state. Just stop for a little while and then you can always come back to it and try again. I also don't know everything about everything. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I am not a pro. I am not an athlete. I'm not a scientist. So if you are watching this, don't take my word as law. If you look stuff up for yourself, which I always recommend doing further research, don't just listen to the first person that says something and then go, oh, that's gotta be correct. If you look other stuff up and you think something else is more accurate, or there's updated information that I don't know about, or you find something that works better for you, do that. I'm not gonna be offended. You don't even have to tell me if you don't want to. Just follow your heart. follow your dreams, make good, healthy decisions for yourself. That's all you gotta do. Life is just a construct of multiple experiences, and everyone's experiences are different than everyone else's. So like, honestly, if you look it up and you're like, you know what, I hear that just eating raw beef every single day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the way to go. I mean, do it. I don't care. I'm never gonna find you. I'm never gonna look in your fridge, and I'm never gonna cook your beef for you, okay? Eat healthy food a majority of the time. Balance it with unhealthy and or more desirable food some of the time. Everything's about balance. Everything is bad for you in too much of a quantity. Excuse you. I just need one more minute, please. I know. All is well. Thank you. Allow yourself some grace if you make slip-ups. I made 1,000,000 slip-ups. That's why I'm here. 1,000,000 slip-ups. And I was so mean to myself every single time. That's not helping you. Be kind to yourself. You're just a person. You're gonna do stupid shit, and it's just gonna be what it is. So choose kindness. Choose kindness to yourself. Choose kindness to others. You can't go wrong. You just gotta float through life and make your mistakes and learn from them and do something different next time. But apparently there's a crisis going on at the garage door. So I'm gonna end the video here. Like, comment, and subscribe, I guess, is something that I need to be saying that I didn't think about. So do those things. I'm gonna address this guy over here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I know.